2017 Mercedes AMG SL65. Over the top, AMG twin-turbo V12 makes more power than many race cars. Yes, the SL65 is completely over the top in many ways. It's expensive, big, heavy, new, comfy, and very, very powerful and fast. None of the above is criticism. There's a time and place for a car like this, and even though my fleet would have to be quite large before it included this car, I applaud AMG for making it. I like the SL's newest shape or redesign. The grille is more upright and the fenders and hood are longer and slope more steeply toward the grille. It looks sleeker. Straight on from the front, the grille and large air openings look dramatic and cool. I love the chrome trim up front. The interior is carryover, I think, but is comfortable and well built. The seats are excellent and crazy adjustable. The engine. My god, the engine. No, nobody needs a street car with more horsepower than plenty of race cars, but as I said above, bless Benz for doing it. Boot the throttle from seemingly any speed and the wheels spin. Over the top indeed. There's little to no turbo lag, and the shifts are imperceptible. It's also a comfortable around-town cruiser. There is literally no chassis flex roof up or down, and that surely helps. I got in some top-down motoring before the rains came. The adjustable suspension helps, too, soaking up nasty surfaces nicely, carving through corners like a lighter, smaller car. You can adjust the suspension, throttle, and shift timing in comfort, sport, sport plus and slippery. One of those should make most drivers happy. Like I said, nobody needs this car, but I have zero issues with Benz building it. The first thing I thought when I looked at this car, and its price, was that the McLaren 570s is Porsche 911 Turbo S money. They're both supercars, by any stretch of the definition, they both. I'm so far outside the target market for this car I have trouble wrapping my head around it. It feels unbearably ostentatious here in southeast Michigan, though I'm sure there are some zip codes here and sprinkled throughout the US where it's just a nice car. There's little to argue about with its pedigree. Hand-built AMG twin-turbo V12, impeccably constructed body and interior, all the creature comforts for which one could ask. The folding top works silently and quickly, and when it's up there's remarkably good outward visibility thanks to the dimmable glass roof, tin pillars, and large rear window. The SL65 is a luxury cruiser par excellence, making the Sport Plus and Race modes on the console almost humorous. It's not that the car can't hunker down and explode down the right roads, it's that no one buying this Beverly Hills Boulevard May will ever use its immense capabilities. Shame maybe, but perhaps being rich is more about knowing what you can do vs actually doing it. The closest I came to understanding the SL65 AMG was when I cranked the top down, turned on the seat heaters and air scarf neck warmers and massagers and went out for ice cream on a cool late summer evening. By any conceivable measure it was too much car for the task at hand. But isn't that always going to be the case when you're driving a $236,925, 621 HP V12 powered roadster? Isn't luxurious excess the point of this thing? Too much engine, too much brake, too much seat massaging, for that matter, for just about anything anyone who buys this car will ever do. There's a freaky amount of onboard tech, which I discovered when I let the car drive me home from work. True, I had to keep my hand on the wheel, but only barely, and occasionally tap the gas when the adaptive cruise control brought the car to a dead stop in rush hour traffic, but it was one of those moments where robot driving didn't feel quite so far off. And maybe a big, luxurious autonomous convertible wouldn't be such a bad thing. You'd be free to take in the scenery, make business deals or whatever. The SL65 doesn't fundamentally bother me like the G65, because shoving a big engine into a convertible isn't as perverse as shoehorning quilted leather and that same engine into a humble, noble work truck. In the SL65's case, you could fairly call it hot rodding. It wouldn't even seem unnecessary, if adding 4 extra cylinders to the SL63 created a totally different experience, rather than a slightly smoother and much more expensive one. But I'm afraid I don't totally get the V12 Benz thing. Swells of torque aside, I think a lot of people are drawn to the big motors as signifiers of wealth or at least disposable income more than anything else. Then again, Andy makes a valid point. I'm so far outside of the world inhabited by anyone who buys this car that my opinion on whether it makes sense doesn't amount to much. I personally think the S-Class Cabrio is more fun. If you're going to go big and boaty, go as big and boaty as you possibly can. So I'll simply say that, for what it is very well done. It's a simple process, enabling drift mode on the 2018 Mercedes AMG SL65, that is. First, you grab the chrome drive mode rocker switch and click it down into race, which quickens. This SL65 feels every bit as fast as that McLaren 570s. It's a rocket on any road and it's as quick at 80 miles per hour as it is at 20 miles per hour. It seems like it'd be comfortable at 175 miles per hour plus. The SL is as grand touring as it gets. In comfort mode it's soft and floaty. Inputs take a smidge longer than when it's in Sport or Sport Plus, but it still has the power to blow everything away. The Distronic cruise control stalk is hidden behind one of the wheel spokes, but I felt for it with my hand, took a shot in the dark and clicked it down and the SL basically went autonomous on me. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but it will follow the car in front at any speed you set it at, and it follows the lane markings around curves too. Talk about fatigue relief. All you have to do is put a finger on the wheel to keep it engaged. It's awesome. I'm not the biggest convertible fan, and I'm even less of a fan of big convertibles, but I get the appeal. The huge transformer top takes about 30 seconds to fold into the trunk, and that makes everything feel just a bit more thrilling. Tunnel runs, expressway ramps and cloverleaf turns all feel more exciting with the wind blowing by. I did have to make a few calls, so I rolled the windows up and raised the wind blocker in the back and I could have an easy conversation without yelling. Speaking of tunnels, AMG makes some of the best sounding engines on the planet. The old 6.3-liter V8 may have the best sound through tunnels, but this 12er, or Twizzy, as the kids are calling it, will go down in the pantheon of great sounding cars. Obviously the pops and crackles on liftoff are great, they always are, but the roar is nearly as good. It sounds like a lion. As far as the sheet metal goes, I loved the 80s looking 4th gen, which ran until 2002. I also liked the 5th gen with the 2 circle headlights. I didn't like the 5th gen refresh when the twin headlights went to one amorphous blob, but the 6th gen, 2012 to present, is back on the happy side of good looking.